Hello everyone out there, how are you all doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel. And I have been putting this off for a few weeks, but I think today is finally the day to discuss this situation around The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and the actual possibility and, in some people's mind, the necessity behind them giving us a Nintendo Direct focused solely on this game. So we are living in the most exciting time right now because we are officially less than 2 full months from the release of the next big mainline console Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, a game I am incredibly excited for, and despite some people's concerns, I fully believe in. I think it is going to be incredible. I always remind you guys, I personally feel the game is going to blow me away. I expect big things from this game, and as I've also discussed on prior videos, one of the main reasons I'm so excited for it is, sure, Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, but more than that, it's the fact that Tears of the Kingdom is adding this incredibly cool new element of the sky. And yes, we've seen the sky introduced in Zelda before with Skyward Sword, a game I also love, and I have defended it ever since the original release on the Wii. I think that game is great, and I love what they attempted with the sky in that game. But now, in 2023, when Tears of the Kingdom is releasing, it's a whole different ballgame in terms of what we're able to see realized in a video game. And I think that what we've seen from the few brief glimpses we've admittedly seen from Tears of the Kingdom shows me that what I expect from the sky gameplay and the element it might be adding to the story in this game is just worlds beyond what was capable with Skyward Sword way back in 2011 on the standard definition Wii. And so, as we all know, and as we've discussed even on my channel many times over the past few weeks, there is that growing concern. I wouldn't even say growing at this point. I think it's just the concern that a lot of people and a lot of fans have felt around Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for many months. Because a lot of people feel, and I understand this, even though I don't personally share the concern, I do understand this. A lot of people feel like Nintendo hasn't shown us enough about the game, and we've had 3 teasers and 1 trailer, and there's probably a combined 2 minutes worth of gameplay between all of these 4 trailers. I mean, I'm just guessing off the top of my head, but I bet it's pretty close to that. And with so little gameplay out there, and like I said, less than 2 months to go, people are feeling underwhelmed, and then you add on top of that the fact that this is the first and only game in the Nintendo Switch era that Nintendo is selling for $70. In the eyes of a lot of people, that's almost adding insult to injury. And I've also discussed that I don't love the fact that they're doing this, but I'm so excited for the game that I will buy it for $70. I've purchased PS5 games for $70, so I'm obviously going to buy this game for the same price, but I also agree that Nintendo is towing a very dangerous line with their choice to do this, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And so because of the lack of gameplay footage, because of the lack of story details and context, and then the added bonus of $70, a lot of people have these worries, which is why myself and everyone else out there has been talking about this idea of a Nintendo Direct that Nintendo will hopefully give us around showcasing Tears of the Kingdom. And so here's my take on this whole idea. I've smattered my feelings about this throughout many of my prior videos, but to really kind of dive in and focus on it in today's conversation, I have to say, does Nintendo need to give us a Nintendo Direct or a big blowout on Tears of the Kingdom? For myself, no. I don't need anything else to be incredibly hyped for this game and ready to pick it up and play it on day one and probably fall in love with it. Do they need to do it for maybe the wider gaming audience and maybe even the wider diehard Nintendo fan that's paying attention to this stuff and wants to feel satisfied with some kind of larger marketing for this game? Yeah, I think I can admit and look outside my own box and understand why people say this and say, yeah, it probably would benefit Nintendo to hold this Nintendo Direct. And I'm going to tell you guys, I absolutely think we will be getting this Nintendo Direct. When you look at Nintendo's history for doing direct presentation and blowouts for some of their biggest games, when you look back at what Nintendo did at E3 2016 for Breath of the Wild, even though the business decision behind that was very different because of the state of the Wii U at the time, when you still look at this track record, there's no reason to think that with their biggest game of this year and really one of their biggest games of the entire Switch generation, they absolutely borderline have to give us some kind of a Direct or larger presentation that really focuses on showing this game's gameplay and talking about the story a little bit. Now, of course, that does not mean spoiling everything, and I think that the people who feel the opposite are worried about spoilers. There are a lot of people who say they don't want to see anything else about this game. No more trailers, no gameplay, no marketing, no Nintendo Direct. They don't want it because they're concerned about Nintendo showing off too much of the game. And I've said this in the past, man. I don't really think with a brand new Zelda game, and with a game like Tears of the Kingdom where we know the scope is going to be so massive, I don't think you can really spoil all that much about the game just by doing Treehouse presentations and trailers and Nintendo Directs. I mean, I guess outside of Aonuma coming on screen and saying, hey, here's the story and here's the ending. You know, yeah, I guess they could spoil it if they outright told us every beat of the story, but they know they wouldn't do that. So telling us the conceit of the adventure and why Link and Zelda go on this journey, what's happening with Ganon, why this adventure is continuing, why there's a sky element, just giving us that base level introductory context to the story, that's kind of normal for a lot of games and even for movies. And so I think they could do that in a direct presentation kind of blowout without spoiling anything. And then when we talk about the gameplay, I mean, how many times have I also mentioned this in the past? There is going to be so much to this game that there's no way in a 30 to 40 minute direct presentation that they're going to show us every single gameplay trick and area of the map that this game is going to have to offer. And it's for that reason that I want to remind everyone of my personal desire and my personal idea that I've mentioned in the past that I really would love to see Nintendo do for this game. And it's not just a Nintendo Direct that's 20 minutes or 30 minutes or what have you, even if it was like 45 minutes. I mean, I would love that. I would be thrilled at a 45-minute Nintendo Direct, and I would happily watch it. But they don't necessarily need to do that. Why wouldn't they consider doing a Nintendo Treehouse? I've been thinking about this and stating it in videos for months now, that when you look at what Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is, and again, you compare E3 2016, where they dedicated 3 days to almost entirely just Breath of the Wild, Nintendo could give us a 2-hour Nintendo Treehouse presentation, and I'm just guessing here, I'm just pulling an idea out of my head, right? So a 2-hour Nintendo Treehouse presentation, and when you look at how Treehouse kind of gameplay segments go, you usually have a couple of Treehouse folks and a couple of developers behind the scenes, sitting in chairs or on a couch. They're going to introduce the gameplay segment, and then for 20 or 25 minutes, they're just going to play the game and talk about it while they play it. And then they'll have like, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 minute intermissions between setups, between gameplay sessions. So if you envision a 2-hour Nintendo Treehouse that's dedicated to Tears of the Kingdom, they just upload it as one 2-hour video to the YouTube channel, and they could probably get anywhere from 3 to 5 gameplay segments with different Treehouse folks hosting different developers and playing the game for 20 to 25 minutes at a time. You get a couple of minutes intermission between gameplay segments. Bob's your uncle, and there you go. You've got a great kind of mini E3 representation of what they did in 2016, but you just condense that into 2 hours. And, I mean, the Nintendo Direct thing to me is, like, just as exciting, but that has to be packaged in such a different way that I feel like it would be a lot easier and probably more fun for Nintendo to just put some cameras in a room with some chairs and couches, and then put some people in those couches, and then play the game for, like, a couple of hours, and then call it good. I mean, I don't know, am I crazy here? Does that not sound like a fun, cool, interesting way for Nintendo to dedicate some time to marketing this game, probably in the month of April, whether it's a Nintendo Direct or my Treehouse idea, and then everyone kind of gets what they want. And even the people who don't want to know anything more about the game, I mean, hello, we know what the answer is. Don't watch the Nintendo Direct, or don't watch the Treehouse if they decided to go that route. To me, this satisfies almost everyone's need, and it would really make a lot of the people who are concerned a lot more excited for this game. Now, the one other thing I'll say is that it is worth noting that I personally believe that 99% of the people who are probably complaining about the game, saying, oh, we haven't seen enough, I don't understand enough about the story, I need to see more gameplay, Nintendo is keeping too many secrets, they just keep posting the same screenshots on Twitter that we've already seen, and all these things. You know, again, complaints that I kind of understand, even though I don't personally share them. I mean, 99% of those people, come on, those people are going to buy the game anyway. So Nintendo is probably thinking about this very smartly. You know, as dumb as they are with some things, they're also smart with others. And they're probably saying, you know, these people are complaining and maybe people want more, But we've put out 4 trailers, and if we decide to do nothing else and then just release this game on release day, most people are going to buy this game, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to make a killing. I mean, whether or not you agree with it or not, they're going to make $10 more per copy anyway because of the $70 price. And like I said, there's goods and bads to that. I don't love the extra price, but I don't mind buying it because it's Zelda, and I know it's going to be great. And so Nintendo definitely is in a position to ignore the people who are demanding more information and more gameplay, because they're like, there's going to be such a small percentage of people that probably decide not to buy it that they probably don't care, and it probably doesn't matter. The casual game fan, which is most people, are going to buy it. And I also think most of the diehard folks and the people paying attention like me and like you guys out there, we're all going to buy the game too, unless you decide not to buy it for the $70 price tag. I do believe, I will say this, I think most people complaining about the $70 price tag who want to make a stand about that, I actually think a fair amount of those folks will choose not to buy the game based on that price. And that is well within their right, and I support all of you who choose to do it, because it is kind of frustrating that Nintendo is charging $70 for this game. I don't think it's going to matter, because I think the extra price is going to make up for the lost sales for people who decide to wait, but it is what it is. I think that probably will happen, but I just think that no matter what Nintendo does or doesn't do, this game is going to sell like crazy. Everyone who wants it is going to buy it. It's going to be a massive hit, regardless of the price and regardless of the people who are worried. But I will say to end this video that I absolutely believe, in my heart of hearts, I believe this in my very bones, that we're going to get a Nintendo Direct or a Treehouse or something significant almost definitely next month in April, probably about maybe 2-3 weeks before the game releases. They're going to give us something, you guys. This Nintendo Direct, Tears of the Kingdom Direct, it's going to happen. I think that even though Nintendo knows they can get away without doing this, they also probably know there's a huge benefit to doing it, and it's good mindshare, it's kind of a good PR spin for the game and for the company to show that they are listening to people, and they get to and it is still marketing at the end of the day. Even if they don't need to do it to sell the game, positive marketing still has a net gain no matter what happens. And so I don't know. I'm telling you guys, I have no worries about this, even though I don't need a Direct to be hyped for this game. I think we're going to get it, and it's probably going to happen in a couple of weeks next month in April.